In Asia, the saying goes, if you sit by the river long enough, pretty soon all of your enemies will go floating by. That's the way I feel about a lot of our stories here. I mean, we did a story, was it 2 months ago? Could have been 2 days ago. Sometimes they all melt together for me as well as you. Anyway, 2 months ago, we did a story about a guy is a mentor. He was a rapper. He wanted to be a mentor. He and his fellas go into a school and they tell the kids how to become better people, etc., etc., etc. Within, I don't even think they left the building before they started posting videos of the rapper and his fellas playing dice, talking about guns, drugs, money, bitches, and violence on video. In the school where they were supposed to be mentoring the children. And so the other day we did a story where somebody was going, yeah, mentorship, Colin, mentorship. That's like the magic bullet. That's the magic bullet, Colin, mentorship. Why can't you understand that, Colin? I said, all right, we're just going to wait. We're just going to wait when we're going to see a story of mentorship where people that are mentoring the wrong things, teaching the wrong things. They're teaching racial resentment, racial hostility on a crazy, crazy level. And even when the local TV news tries to make it sound good, it still comes out just like this.
100 Black Men of Tulsa wants to focus its mentoring of young people more on education this year than athletics. News on 6's Emery Bryan is on that story.
The group 100 Black Men of Tulsa sends mentors into 7 Tulsa schools every week, meeting with about a dozen students at each building. The president of the group told me today that too often minority young men focus on sports for success, and he hopes they'll look more instead to education. In the lobby of the Greenwood Cultural Center, 43 young men listened as Hannibal Johnson explained the 1921 race massacre. They're here with their mentors, learning the history of Tulsa and asking questions about what sparked the riot and what's happened since then. Cultural education is a new focus for the leaders of 100 Black Men of Tulsa as they try to transform lives with positive role models.
What we thought about is break this cycle of gang involvement and mischievousness and being so hyper, trying to get them settled down, get them to understand the significance of what the classroom means to them.
The mentors took the students on a walking tour down Greenwood to get a better understanding of what they've been hearing. The group hopes to do more field trips like this to museums and cultural sites.
Mostly, we just want them to believe in themselves, because I believe once they do that, then they can do anything.
100 Black Men of Tulsa hopes to expand their reach to get into more schools, as many Tulsa schools as possible.
And the other day we did a story about how a city councilwoman in Philly was thinking about putting up, getting rid of all the plexiglass and all the liquor stores and convenience stores in Philly because this is somehow undignified for the brothers and the sisters and the fellas and the lovely ladies who live in that part of town. No, that's not right. Because, treating your customers without dignity, that causes them to rob you and kill you. Just like in the movie, everybody sent me this movie. What the hell is it called? Where the black people kill the Asian people. Anyway, Menace to Society. Yeah, Menace. Anyway, so when we did the story, a lot of people said, oh, don't worry about that, Colin. That's never going to happen. She's just doing that to get some attention. That's never going to happen. Yeah, it happened. It happened. License and inspection can now go in and pretty soon start telling these people to yank their plexiglass out because that makes the black people who rob their stores feel very, very poorly when they have to do it in a loud voice because they're shouting through the plexiglass. So, I don't know how we get around to blaming Asian people for black criminality, but that's what the plexiglass represents. That's what we see a lot, and that's what we see in this story, too.
More about a teenager shot in the head inside a Chinese restaurant in South Philadelphia. He was among several people inside that business when a gunman opened fire last night. NBC 10's Miguel Martinez Valle has the story.
They trying to press against the door so they wouldn't come in, and they just shot through the window.
Ruby Foster is angry. Angry another teen was shot on her street. Angry Twin Dragon, the restaurant where it happened, opened hours after the shooting. But most of all, angry those working in the store didn't do more to protect the 17-year-old she knows as Na.
The boy begged and asked her to pull the thing down. Save my life. They coming to kill me. They coming after me. She said no to this boy.
Foster told me her 2 teen nephews were inside the takeout place when the shots were fired. She thanks God they're alive, but said they won't be going back.
This got to stop. Not the first time I experienced this at this store. This not the first time that someone got killed and asked this store to bring it down.
Mustafa showed up to the crime scene minutes after the shooting. He also knows the victim. They grew up in this Grays Ferry neighborhood.
He's like a good kid. Like, he don't go around starting trouble or nothing. He just he stay to himself. He come here once in a while to a Chinese store.
He doesn't blame the takeout spot. He said there should have been more cops.
I don't never see no cops out here. And last month, all these people just got shot. It was like 4 shootings.
My heart goes out to the boy's family. I pray hard for him.
Boy, we've been getting a lot of pushback from active self-deception. The active self-deception channel, just because we called him out. He was saying that all the stuff we're talking about is totally wrong. There is no, crime. Race doesn't matter, Colin. Color doesn't matter to crime, Colin. Why can't you figure that out, Colin? And then he does some funny little karate move on us, and, that's his thing. So all of his viewers been coming in here, yelling all this stuff at us. Colin, you don't know what you're talking about. They're funny. Half the people that come in, that you can tell they haven't watched the video, right? I mean, they go, Colin, you haven't documented it. I go, let me guess, you didn't watch the video, right? The guy last night goes, well, I haven't had a chance to yet. I'm at Red Robin having dinner with my family. I'll watch it when I get home. So all these people at the active self-deception, is it self-deception? I forget what it's called. The active self-deception channel with the fat boy. It's like they come in here and tell us that there is no racial difference in crime. Black crime, white crime, it's all the same, Colin. Doesn't make any difference. That will get you killed. Hey, don't take my word for it. Take this guy's word for it. I knew this letter was going to come in soon enough. This guy's a retired cop. So many letters from the cops. We should read more of them. Hi, my name is blank. I'm a retired police officer in Des Moines, Iowa. I even know how to pronounce it. I began watching your website a couple of months ago, and it is great seeing someone finally dealing with the black attacks that have plagued this nation, not just recently, but for decades. When I joined the force, it was an issue that we faced on a regular basis, that it even led to the murder of 2 of my fellow officers. I wish those who don't have a clue, proprietors and members of active self-deception, maybe. I wish those who don't have a clue would spend 1 month as a police officer, no matter what large city, it doesn't matter, and hopefully have their eyes opened. I'm including with this letter, and one of you know what? I get lots of letters now. I mean, it's kind of fun getting letters. Now, every day I go to the post office. I go to my mailbox, pick out my letters, because people are always sending me letters. Sometimes there's a little love offering in there. Thank you very much for that, everybody. It's very, very grateful for it. PayPal's nice too, though. But, this guy sent me a shillelagh. I keep one of these in my car when I am on the road. In fact, I was compelled to use it once when I was assaulted by one of the fellas. So thank you for what you do, and have a blessed Christmas. P.S. on the shillelagh, talks a little bit about the shillelagh, how it's an Irish tradition. And a tradition in Ireland is to hang the Irish stick at the main entry to ward off the little people. And who knows, maybe in our case, it will ward off the fellas. I'm just not sure. I still, even after getting a letter from a cop and seeing these 2 stories, I still can't get my whole mind around why everybody is so eager to find the one magic bullet, the one out, the one thing that's just going to, explain the whole thing and allow black people to escape responsibility for this enormous amount of black criminality and dysfunction that we see every day. I'm sorry to, I'm going to tell a neighbor story now. So I saw some of my neighbors the other night. I was on their porch smoking cigars, and the fact is, some of my neighbors never watch these videos. They don't know me from Adam. I was sitting there smoking cigars with one guy I've met before. He goes, "Oh, you're in real estate, right?" So, yeah, whatever. Anyway, so so we're talking about this topic, and he's giving me one of these sociology lectures that began in 1492, and he kind of bringing me up every 5 years, and I'm going, I've heard every single excuse in the books. I don't know why people try to give me more of them, but he was doing it. Finally, I suggested that, how when you ever go to you get a Chinese fortune cookie, have you ever heard that sometimes, when you get the fortune, you actually amend or append something to the end of the fortune? A lot of times people will say, whatever your fortune is, you are strong like a bull, parentheses, you append it with, in bed. Well, that's what all these excuses are. To me, they all have an appendage to them. And the appendage is like, okay, Colin, here's what you don't know. Here's why the fellas crime is so wildly out of proportion for the fellas. And here's why what you don't know, Colin. And here's what I'm going to tell you. Blah, blah, blah. 1492, 1862, 1921, as we saw there in Tulsa. And so the appendage in this case is blah, 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 Tulsa, parentheses. That is why black people do not have to take responsibility for their own actions. And that's why it's okay if every once in a while you go around bonking a white guy on the head and rifle his pockets and laugh like a hyena while you do it. That's why it's okay. And everybody's down with that. A lot of my neighbors are down with that. Even though they know they can't walk in their neighborhood, even though they know they cannot raise children in that neighborhood.